All right. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for being here today and joining our MA program at San Diego State University's information session. It's a beautiful sunny day in San Diego. We love it. Welcome everyone, and thank you for joining us today. And today you'll be able to learn a little bit about the School of Communication at San Diego State University, a little bit about our graduate program, including the application process, and meet some of our fabulous graduate faculty member as well as graduate students. So there will be a time for everyone to ask questions at the end. So feel free, you can type in your question in the chat. And Edda, please help me monitor the chat. Okay, so let me share our agenda for today. Okay, it's kind of move around, so let me go back. All right, and then we can see this. Okay, awesome. So for our time today, we'll first hear from Dr. Martinez, who is our interim school director, a little bit about the school communication at San Diego State University. And then after that, I'll talk specifically about the fall 2025 application process. After that, you'll get to hear from our graduate faculty member, including our basic course director and our director of forensics. And then we also have a great lineup of our graduate students, teaching associates, and research assistants who are here. Then we'll end with some time for your questions. So the goal today is that you'll walk away getting acquainted with us, have some of your questions answered, and most importantly, you should walk away with a basic sense of how applying to our MA program works. So with that, I'll turn the floor to Dr. Martinez.
Hi, everyone. I am Dr. Martinez. I am currently serving as the interim school director while Dr. Heather Canary is away on sabbatical. She will be returning in January 25 and will be the director for those of you who are coming in for the, or who would be coming in for the incoming class of fall 2025. So our MA program is nationally ranked, always nationally ranked at the top or among the top. We were actually named the National Communication Association's 2019 Outstanding Master's Program. We have internationally recognized faculty, and if you look at their websites, their CVs, you'll see very clearly why. We have 13 tenured and tenure track faculty and 35 full and part-time lecturers. We proudly serve over 900 undergraduate communication and health communication majors. And this is very important because we are one of the few places that actually offers a health communication major. So we not just offer a general communication major, but also one that is specialized in health communication, which makes one of our programs very unique. In terms of our graduate program, we have over 30 MA students right now, and they serve as teaching associates or research assistants. And so they get a plethora of experience teaching in the classroom, whether it's COM 103 small sections or whether they're acting as research assistants and participating in research teams actively involved in facilitating and contributing to important research that's happening at our school. I think that's it. Yeah, that's kind of our program in a nutshell. Happy to answer any questions about SDSU. If you look at our website, we are very proud to pursue a mission that has impact. So we seek to innovate communication, teaching, and research. We seek to mentor in the communication research process, to partner with other educational, research, institutional, and community contexts, ask questions, acknowledge issues, assess answers, and advance the discipline, as well as making sure that people are aware of our mission, that we communicate it effectively, and that we transform and translate the research that is produced here.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Dr. Martinez. I want to pause and see if there were any questions in the chat. Eda, do you see any? Oh,
nope, we are good to go. Not
we
so
have
far.
a hand raised.
I think I see a hand raised.
Yes. we see two hands raised. Okay, let me stop sharing and let people ask those who have hands raised. So who do I see? So first, let's Ethan. You can ask your question. Ethan, are you with us? Do you want to ask your question?
Hello.
Hi.
Hey, sorry, I was just having issues there. Yeah, I was just curious what's if you guys had any examples of some of the research that you guys are actively pursuing right now.
Great question.
That is a great question. We have several scholars here who are able to give a quick summary or description of their research. I could kick us off. I primarily study the way people look for and share health information they find in their social environment and how that translates into health-related decisions. This can be information that they gather from family and friends on social media or in the clinical context when they're talking to healthcare providers. More recently, my research looks at the role of social media in shaping information environments and how that might be impacting people's exposure to misinformation and development of misconceptions around vaccines and cancer.
Awesome. Just quickly, I am primarily a critical intercultural communication scholar. My research focuses on identity, immigration, and ideology. I have looked at those intersection of those issues within the context of immigrant women faculty within U.S. academia. I've looked at those issues within Pan-Asian nonprofit organizations. My latest research is focusing on Taoist spirituality in Taiwan, where I'm originally from. We also have Dr. Recker and Dr. Savage, as well as Dr. Gonzalez, who hopefully will join us. They can share now, or they can also share later on.
I can share now quickly. So my research right now is funded by California's Tobacco-Related Disease Research Program. And these projects use communication strategies and techniques in order to increase awareness of the legacy of tobacco and to improve tobacco prevention behaviors.
Awesome. Dr. Savage.
Yes, hi everyone. My research is mostly in the area of health communication campaigns, and a project that I've been working on very diligently this semester with the help of graduate students and undergraduate research assistants is actually an intervention related to nutrition with cancer patients, where we're partnered at More Cancer Center. These are men who are over 40 from Hispanic and Latino backgrounds. And so that's just an example of one type of project that I do, but I work on a range of health outcomes to change behavior. And so we get to look at persuasive messaging, and we get to work with community organizations and with people who are providing healthcare on the ground. So that kind of summarizes some of the things that I do. Dr. Kumar, I wanted to make sure that you had a chance to speak too. I saw you there.
Hi, Dr. Kumar.
Thank you, Dr. Chen and Savage. Hi, everyone. I am Dr. Rati Kumar. I am an assistant professor in the School of Communication. It's good to see so many familiar faces. And my work is primarily in the area of critical health communication. I look at elements of culture, structure, and agency, and really how those converge. Specifically in the context of displacement. So looking at health in displacement, some of my recent projects have been working on issues of refugee health, both in South Asian refugee camps as well as refugees resettled here. And the other piece in terms of displacement is also sort of systemic displacement, looking at health in the context of incarceration and really looking at these sort of broad structural issues and how those create lived experiences of health.
Wonderful. I see a hand raised also by Prolab. I'm sorry if I butcher your name. There you go. You should be able to ask your question. Thank you, Ethan, for that great question. Prolab? Do you want to, you can ask your question or you can type in your question up.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, I have a question regarding the master's program. Actually, I don't have a background in health communication or the health related subject in my undergrad. So if I am interested to go for health communication major, is that possible?
Yes, absolutely. You'll get to hear from, we have quantitative, qualitative, we have a number of health communication expertise on our faculty. You can definitely learn more about health communication should that be something you're interested in pursuing in our graduate program. You don't have to have a master's degree, you don't have to have a bachelor degree in communication to join our program. We will review all application holistically, but if you want to focus on health communication, as an MA student in our program, you can definitely do that.
Yeah,
Thank you for your question.
and what about the PhD option? Is that
We
the
do not have a
terminal MA?
PhD program. We do
Is
not.
that a terminal MA, or is that leading to PhD or something like that?
This is a terminal MA program. It's actually a good segue. Let me get back to the presentation, which I'm going to talk about our MA
Yeah.
program as well as our application process. So thank you for your
Thank you.
question. That was a great segue. So, all right, let me go back to sharing my slide. Thank you. Okay, and then we can see my slide, hopefully. Okay, awesome. Can we see it? Okay, awesome. Okay, great. A little bit about our MA program as well as our application process. So we are a 30-unit MA program. It's a terminal MA degree program, as I mentioned before. That means our students take a variety of 10 seminars. Each seminar is about 3 units. One thing I'm really proud about our MA program is that we offer rigorous training in both communication theories and methods that we believe are applicable to both academic and professional contexts. Some of our MA students go on to pursue their PhD programs in other places. Some of our MA graduates, join the industry or, become lecturer in our program. So we really pride ourselves in emphasizing rigorous training in both communication theories and methods that we think will serve people well, both academically and in professional contexts as well. So all the first-year graduate students will take COM 601, which is our theory and research method in communication, in their first semester. You will see that this is the pending program. So we have new courses that we are moving through the approval process that we would like to offer, hopefully starting in the 2025-2026 academic year. But generally, there are some required courses, but there are also a variety of communication seminars, health communication, gender, sexuality, intercultural, instructional, so on and so forth, leadership, organizational, a number of graduate seminars that our students get to choose from and form their particular area of specialization. And you'll get to hear from our fabulous graduate students in a little bit later on as well. So that just quickly about our kind of graduate program, MA program coursework. In terms of fall 2025 application, Eda, if you can drop the link in the chat, that would be great, since people can click on my PowerPoint slide. But we have a page, how to apply page, that really provide very detailed information step by step about our application process. So in a nutshell, our applying to our MA program is a 2-step process, right? So you not only apply to Cal State Apply, but you also need to apply to Interfolio, that we have specific program level materials that we require. In terms of, as you were thinking about applying to our program between now and our deadline, February 1st and February 15th, some of the things we recommend folks do are visit our website. You are here attending our Zoom webinar, which is fabulous. You're already getting started. So visit our website after this Zoom webinar. You can learn more about our program, poke around. There are many, many pages about different things. We have our center, our institute. You can look at our individual faculty's profile. In addition to kind of learning more about us, and you can also be working on your resume, or AKA your curriculum vitae. And we also require a statement of purpose in which you talked about why you want to pursue a master's degree in communication. How do you see that we are a good fit meeting your goals? And we also require 3 recommendation forms. In Interfolio, they're called recommendation letters, but we strongly encourage that people use our recommendation form, and we require 3 of them. Generally, 2 of them ideally are people, professors or academic folks who can speak to your academic training and experiences. If one of them are a professional recommendation, that's okay. But I think we would like to see, at least 2 of them being people who can talk about your academic experiences and abilities. In addition to resume, statement of purpose, recommendation form, we also want to see a best writing sample. The good news for people who are applying for fall 2025 is our faculty has voted again to waive GRE score for fall 2025. However, if you are an international applicant, you'll still need to prove English proficiency. That's a university level requirement, the TOEFL score. But GRE score are waived for fall 2025. For those of you who are senior, who are thinking, well, maybe I want to take a gap year, there is an implication because our faculty voted to waive GRE for fall 2025. However, starting in fall 2026, GRE score will be required again. We don't have a minimum GRE requirement. We want people to go through the experience to learn kind of what grad school is about. So if you're a senior thinking about taking a gap year, maybe you want to rethink that if you don't want to do the GRE score. Transcripts are required. I'll talk a little bit about transcript on the last slide. So kind of get ready, get set, get all the materials that you need ready. Once you're ready to submit, as I said, we have a 2-step application process. You need to apply to Cal State Apply by February 1st. So everything that's required in Cal State Apply, excluding transcripts, are due February 1st. And then you also need to apply to our department level Interfolio or school level Interfolio requirement. That's where you submit your statement of purpose, your recommendation forms, your resume, as well as your best writing sample. So the Interfolio with the department school level requirement, they are due February 15th. I want to highlight that Interfolio deadline is based on Eastern time. So Eastern time, February 15th, 11:59 p.m. is actually 8:59 p.m. Pacific time. So please mark that deadline. In terms of transcripts, the university, you will submit official transcripts on Interfolio, official transcript on Cal State Apply. So the university will review official transcripts, calculate GPA and all that information. We ask that you submit unofficial transcript so that we, when we do the departmental level review, we get to see your unofficial transcript. So we ask that you submit unofficial transcript into Interfolio as well. So requirement for transcript is all post-secondary institution attended. Community colleges, if you have coursework in different institutions that are post-secondary level, all need to be submitted and reviewed by the university. If you are an international applicant from outside the US, and there are certain countries that you don't need the English certification. However, most international applicants from countries that do not have English as their official language will need to submit their transcripts and degree accompanied by an official certified literal English translation. And I provided a link here. If Eda can drop that link in the chat, that would be great. That the university have specific requirement for the certification for official transcripts. So, and as I mentioned before, GRE is waived for fall 2025, but we will start requiring it for fall 2026. We don't have a minimum GRE requirement, but it's more provide us additional data for us to assess kind of who is a good fit for our program. As I mentioned before, in lieu of recommendation letter, we recommend that you send the recommendation form, which is on our how to apply page. So download the recommendation form, send the recommendation form to the people you are asking for the recommendation letters and ask them to fill it out. Our hope is that this would be a much easier ask on your part. They don't have to actually write a letter. They can just fill out our form. And we have quantitative and qualitative questions. So that could, our hope is that this would be an easier ask on your part and much more time efficient for your letter writers to provide us the form. Let me pause here and see if there were any questions before I turn over to Michael Rapp, who will talk about our graduate teaching associate position. Eda, do you see any questions on the chat?
Nope, and nobody's hands are raised. Oh, we just got one.
Chelsea. Okay, let me go to Chelsea. Let's see. Chelsea.
Hi, so I saw the requirements. Are you guys not looking for a certain GPA to get into the program?
We don't have that's a great question. We ask for transcripts, so that does allow us to see GPA. We don't have a minimum GPA requirement. However, we do look at recommendation letter, GPA, best writing sample, your resume, your coursework. So we do look at everything holistically. If someone's GPA is low, however, we see that their writing sample is really strong, that would give us confidence that they can succeed in our graduate program. I think low GPA would be a problem if the GPAs are low. We don't see other evidence in their application package that they would be able to succeed in our MA program. We are a writing intensive MA program. So yeah, so that's what I would say about GPA. So when you submit the transcript, the university, when they review it, they would calculate the GPA for all the applicants. Does that answer your question, Chelsea?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Great question. All right. Okay, if no more questions, let me go back to my slides. Okay. Sorry, just maneuvering this box is not. Okay, there we go.
Dr. Chen, we got an anonymous question submitted.
Okay.
And the question is, can a CV be submitted in lieu of a resume? And I love that we're throwing the word CV around on this webinar today. So I will pass that to you. Just wanted to let you know it was asked.
So we kind of look at CV and resume, I guess curriculum vitae, and either one is fine. In academic circle, we all have curriculum vitae, and then you can look at all faculty members' CV, but we're not asking for that. If you have a resume, that's fine. If you have a CV, that's fine. Either way, it's fine. Yeah, great question. Okay, let me go back to my slides, and there we go. Okay, so next we have Mr. Rapp. The floor is yours.
Hello, how are you? Welcome.
Good.
My name is Michael Rapp. I am the director of the basic course. Some people refer to it as a foundation course. Basically, I run everything that is Introduction to Public Speaking, Communication 103 course. So, real quick, I've been in this position for 10, 11 years. I went to San Diego State. I took Comm 103 as a first-year student. And then I earned my master's degree from San Diego State and taught this course as a graduate teaching associate, which is your official title when you come in. So what we do and how we do things with how we refer to as Comm 103. We do not look for prior teaching experience. If you're interested in teaching and we look and there's a need and you fit, then we take you. So then what we do is the week before fall starts, the week before, we do a week-long orientation that I lead with some other people, and we basically go, okay, here's a crash course on how to teach and how to teach public speaking. It is a long week, and some of the graduate students who are on this will smile and say, yes, it is. But it's a long week and it's just a crash course on how to teach. And then we essentially kind of, I won't say throw you in the classroom, but kind of gently push you in the classroom. So what we ask is that you teach typically 3 classes a semester. Each class will have 22 students. They are typically, again, using the word typically, first year students. You have 18-year-olds first semester on college in the fall, and you are going to walk them through and teach them and guide them on how to write a speech, practice a speech, presentation aids, and then deliver different various types of speeches. We have an introduction speech, an informative speech, a persuasive speech, what we refer to as a special occasion. Meanwhile, what I do, since most of our graduate teaching associates are new to teaching, is my responsibility is 1, to train you, 2, to have weekly GTA meetings to guide you, to keep you up to date, and then 3, to kind of mentor and continue the training through your 4 semesters of the MA program. I write the syllabus for the class. I create every assignment. I put together the entire class, make it all look pretty. I put a little bow on it too. We take a picture and smile. We're very excited. Okay. And I put everything out there. I create the online Canvas course, and then I release it to all of our graduate TAs. And I say, now go teach. And you meet with your students twice a week for 50 minutes. And then they see me once a week in a large lecture of about 400. And I teach the book, and then you get to have fun with them. I do kind of the unfun. I teach the theory. I teach the idea of it. I teach the introduction to the discipline of communication, and I take care of all the book stuff. And then when they see you twice a week, you're like, hey, we just learned about eye contact in large lecture, why it's important. Now we're going to practice eye contact, and we're going to do an exercise. And one of the really neat things that we really promote in this GTA position is everybody working together and sharing. And so there's Google Drives and there's other ways that they all share information and say, hey, I did this exercise and it was so amazing, and here it is for everybody. And we just share everything that we do that has success. And then you get to have, excuse me, you get to have fun with your students in the classroom, guide them through, build some really neat relationships with students. There's always a few that will test you, but that's just life in any position. And then I'm there to make sure that when there is like maybe a pothole that you are driving down the road and you swerve left and right, but then you still hit it, I'm there to help you get through all of those different challenges when they pop up, and then also share in the successes when you have something really fun and exciting to say, wow, one of my students did something great. And then you get to share that with me, and I love that too. So that is the basic breakdown of this. I really create the course. I release it to you, you teach it, I train you, and I'm with you every step along the way in case there's any successes you want to share or any little tough moments that you need help guiding with. That's the quick version. I think there was something in the chat that was asked, if I'm correct. Oh, that's for after when I'm done. All right, so I think we're good there. But okay, that's really the quick version of my position and my role with graduate students in our MA program.
Okay, great. Well, in the interest, I like that we're interactive, but I also know we have more people who are here to share. So I want to move us along and then have more Q&A later on. So if I can have John Lu here and talk about our forensics program. Is John here or no? Okay, I guess I don't, well, I know John was gonna join, but you'll get to hear from the forensic some of the forensic GTA as well. But let me bring up the slides. Ooh, what's going on here? Let me pretend to be John Lu, and then other of our faculty can chime in as well about our top-ranked forensic program. Okay, so let me bring up the slides. There we go. So I'm not John Lu, but I'm going to pretend to be John Lu for a minute here. We have a nationally ranked forensic team. And we have some of our grad students here who are coach in our speech and debate team who teach COM 160 or COM 204 as our graduate teaching associate in addition to COM 103. So Michael Rapp kind of is direct COM 103 public speaking, but we also, if you are one of our forensic GTA, then you'll be teaching either COM 160 or COM 240. Is there, yeah, so there's a forensic coaching, there's a forensic leadership team, and the forensic team generally work with John Liu, and he has been doing a fabulous job. They're in fact in a tournament right now. That might be why he's running not here. So, all right. If I can get us switched, well, I would like to kind of invite our graduate faculty to share a little bit about their advice for applying to our graduate program, as well as what they most appreciate about our graduate program. So let me ask the first question first, and this is a question for our graduate faculty. And then after this, I'll turn over to Eda, who equally have questions for our graduate GTAs. So for our graduate faculty, the first question is either or. You can choose A or B. How would you describe the culture of the School of Communication, or what is one thing that you most appreciate about being a faculty member in the School of Communication? Can we get maybe we'll start with Dr. Recker, Dr. Savage, Dr. Kumar, and then Dr. Gonzalez.
Sure. I think I'll take question B. So something that I really appreciate about our program is the methodological diversity of the experience that we provide for students. I'm a methods nerd, a tools nerd. I love that our program gives students the chance to have hands-on experiences with qualitative methodologies, rhetorical methodologies, quantitative methodologies. These skills are so practical across a diverse area of careers and post-graduation opportunities. Not only could they set you up for PhD programs, if that's what you're interested in, but having this experience with all these different methods gives you really tangible moments to talk about in cover letters and in interviews if you are choosing careers or traditional career paths outside of academia after our program. So I think all of the different methods classes is something that really stands out to me that I really love about our program. And you'd be surprised that you won't find that at all programs. Some programs really specialize in one, maybe two, and we've got everything for you.
Awesome. Thank you, Dr. Recker. Dr. Savage.
Yeah, I would just add on to that across those methodologies, what's really cool from my perspective is that so many of us in the faculty are community engaged and we're connected to lots of organizations, educational institutions, health providers, non-government aid organizations, humanitarian agencies. And I think all of those connections, and those also extend to the students as well, but those connections allow for all of us to do a lot of connection and translation of the work that we're doing with communities that we aim to understand, work with, and serve. So that's one thing. I also was planning to give a little bit of advice about statements of purpose. Is this a good time to talk about that, or should we do that later?
I'm gonna ask that question next. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Kumar.
Thank you, Dr. Savage and Record. I think you covered most of what is really great about our program. Just to add on to that, I've found in my time here that students have the freedom to sort of approach different faculty. And I think the fact that I would hazard to guess that most of us are fairly approachable is actually something that people don't really talk about culturally. Oftentimes it can be an intimidating environment, but I think again in our department, we have faculty who are very collaborative, so we can direct, if there is someone who comes to us and we feel like they might be they might fit better with someone else's research program, then we very happily guide them to the other faculty member. And so also there is that approachability factor, which I hope is evident to our current students, and that does play very as former graduate students ourselves. We know how that feels when it is not available. So I think that is definitely adding on to the things that Dr. Savage and Record mentioned. that is also, I think, a real big benefit of our program.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Dr. Kumar. Dr. Gonzalez.
Wow, it's difficult to follow up. I think we've pretty much covered it, but I'd like to emphasize how collaborative not just the faculty are and how excited we are to work with graduate students, but how collaborative the graduate students are, the graduate student network, and the community at this master's program is really something exciting to experience, that echoing what Dr. Chen said earlier, or Dr. Record said earlier, you don't see at every master's program.
All right, awesome. Thank you so much. Well, my next question, and also my last question for our graduate faculty is, so folks here are applying to our MA program for fall 2025 application or thinking about it. What is your one piece of advice for our applicants? Dr. Record.
Sure. Well, you've mentioned a lot during this webinar about the writing sample. So why don't I chat just a little bit about some advice for the writing sample? So your writing sample should be a paper that you have solo written yourself. This does not mean that you can't solicit feedback, particularly advice on from a writing center or a faculty member, but this should be a paper that, generally speaking, you have absolutely written yourself. You would be the only person considered the author of this paper. This paper should highlight your understanding of writing structures, grammar, and spelling. So although the content is, of course, going to be of interest to us, you don't want to submit something that we might be bored reading. We're really not looking at the content as much as we're looking at the way you are choosing to structure your argument, the way that you are using punctuation and grammar, and the extent to which there are typos or spelling errors. So that is substantially far more important to us than the actual substance of the content that you've selected. So as you might possibly be looking for feedback, I want to caution you not to look to AI, because everybody on the graduate committee spends much of their semester filtering out AI written papers. And if we suspect that a writing sample is written by AI being passed off as a sample by a student, that is not going to bode well for the application at all. That could be a deal breaker for the committee. So I encourage you to steer clear of the sometimes persuasive draw of just seeing what AI would say, and trust yourself. Trust yourself and trust what you have learned in your programs so far. To that end, the writing sample is really important because you don't want to get accepted to this program on a paper you didn't write. We're a writing intensive program. You are going to be expected to replicate the sample that you created. So if you are turning to other places in order to create a writing sample, chances are you're going to find the writing expectations of this program very, very difficult, and that does not set you up for success. So when you turn in your writing sample, you want to know that you got accepted on a writing sample that you actually wrote, and I'm going to assume are probably pretty proud of if that's the case. The last thing I'll say about this is that even though we have a writing sample as a specific document that we're looking for, every single thing you submit is a writing sample. And you should look at all your materials through that lens. We are going to be looking for typos. We're going to be looking for punctuation use. So your cover letter, your statement of purpose, your resume, everything should be taken that writing sample fine-tooth comb with regard for how you're choosing to present information and that structure that you use to present your papers. So I hope that is helpful things to keep in mind as you're considering which paper to use as your writing sample.
Awesome. That's great advice. Thank you, Dr. Recker. And Dr. Savage, as you mentioned earlier, you have something you want to say about the statement of purpose.
Yes. So I get a lot of questions from students who are interested in graduate school about what a statement of purpose is and how to do it. You can find some advice about this on our How to Apply page. But in essence, a statement of purpose is where you're going to describe your background. This could be your professional background. It might also include some relevant information from your personal background so that we can get an idea of what training and experiences that you've had that have prepared you for graduate school. A lot of times, students will find it very helpful to share with us their goals in this time when they present their statement of purpose so that we can see how those goals align with what we can support within the graduate program. Some additional advice about just beyond just the general overall what is a statement of purpose would be we want to know about what communication classes you've taken, or perhaps you don't have a communication background in terms of your degree, but you've been working in some capacity professionally or personally that has guided your interest to apply. So we want to know how you're going to, or what things you've done that lead to that interest in the MA program in communication. We also would like to know about any career objectives that you might have, or if your objectives relate to going further on to graduate school, it's good for us to know that then. Some things that are optional that you can include if you're able to is, say you've been looking at the website, or maybe in your classes or personal research have been reading stuff that one of us have written and you're excited to take a class with us or to potentially do a thesis or explore a topic through comprehensive exams. We find it helpful if you express that interest about working with specific faculty members in your statement of purpose. And last, we definitely want to know if you're interested in a GTA position, because this will help us in our recruitment efforts to make sure that the cohort that we recruit, we have enough positions for everybody and that we're able to sort of meet what we assign you to with your professional and personal goals. So I hope that's helpful for your statement of purpose.
Excellent. Yeah, definitely. I want to echo that. You can definitely, we encourage you to look at our faculty profile and let us know whose work are you particularly interested in learning more about or working with. And then in the interfolio, you can let us know if you are interested in our GTA position. Before I turn over to Eda, I want to see if Dr. Martinez, Dr. Gonzalez, or Dr. Kumar want to add anything.
If I may, just very quickly, adding on to what Dr. Savage was saying, two things I would strongly recommend is, if you're interested, of course, right, let us know in your application faculty you might be interested in working with. But also I think this pre-application period is very important for potential students to reach out. And I want to say that again, right? It's not that we will not talk to you unless you're in our program, but reach out individually to faculty members and just have a very quick, you don't have to say anything fancy or academic sounding, just say, I would love to know a little bit more. Because we will sometimes find, right, students might come in thinking that this work is something and it might be a little bit different. So that always helps temper that when you're going in for this process, right? When you're submitting your application, it helps to have that before. And the second piece of advice really is for students, international students who might be applying. And this tends to be very common across the board. That is an experience for international students. Only now, I think in the past decade or so, there has been a very clear demarcation, and not necessarily an airtight demarcation, between journalism and media studies and communication. So for those of you who are at that intersection, feel free to reach out to us, because there is work, there is research that happens in communication that very much might align with what you're interested in. But again, don't be afraid to reach out, because I recognize, right, mass communication tends to be the nomenclature internationally for a lot of these programs as well. So please do reach out if you're confused about what that means in terms of a communication degree.
Yeah, great advice. Thank you, Dr. Kumar. In the interest of time, I'm going to turn over to Eda, and we have a great lineup of our fabulous graduate students who are here with us. Let me just share who they are. So that's our lineup, and I'll turn it over to Eda, who will facilitate this portion.
Great. Thank you so much, Dr. Chen. We are really, really excited to be here. We love providing our perspectives and then also hearing just different roles that you can potentially be in. The first thing that we are going to talk about is, what is one thing that you most appreciate about being a graduate student in the School of Communication? And then we'll answer the second question, which is, what is one piece of advice for you as applicants? To start us off, like I said, my name is Eda. I am a second year. I teach COM 103 as a GTA, so I am under RAP. It is an incredible program. I truly love my experience with it the last year, about a year and a half now. To keep things brief, I know we're running out of time. Something that I truly appreciate in terms of the School of Comm here at SDSU is just the interdisciplinary and collaborative nature of the program. I was able to come in with a lot of hesitancy and confusion and work with faculty members that truly want to see you succeed. And I think that that environment is so welcoming and so warm, and I've genuinely enjoyed my time. The faculty here are incredibly supportive. They provide a lot of guidance tailored to your academic and personal needs, whether that's theory-driven or more application-based. So we really appreciate that. In terms of advice, be sure that you are clear on your interests for research, but then also remain open to expanding on new ideas and perspectives. You are going to be in a program that will challenge you, and you are going to navigate new experiences. So just be open to that, maximize your growth and opportunities during your time here. I'm going to pass it along to our forensics individual, Jules.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jules Bruch. I am one of our 2 assistant directors of the forensics, aka speech and debate team. I am also a GTA, so I currently am teaching advanced public speaking, so COM 204, but I also taught argumentation and debate 160 last year in my first year. As for things that I really appreciate about this department, I think for me personally, it would be the culture of our cohort. It really is what you create it to be. Also, I apologize. I'm currently at a speech and debate tournament. So if you hear noise, it is because people are going to rounds. Topic was just announced, so they're prepping for that. Sorry about that. No, it really is the people around you that support and uplift you. We have a very, very supportive cohort, but also our first years are amazing that just came in. And that entire culture is created by our faculty, which I really, really appreciate. And then the biggest piece of advice I can give is do this for you. Decide that this is a path that you want to take. You know, you're putting yourself in a position where this is a very rigorous program. It does ask a lot of you, and it's extremely worth it, in my opinion. I've loved my experience so far, and I'm excited to continue on being able to proudly claim that I was a part of this department. But it really is something that you need to do for you. So be sure of that before you apply. And if you have more questions, you can always find any of us to ask us about it.
Thank you so much, Jules. Ollie is our first year representative. They also teach COM 160, which is a bit different than our COM 103 under RAP. So Ollie, if you could take it away.
Yeah, thank you so much. I think. So sorry, as Joel said, we are currently at the same speech and debate tournament, so trying to operate off of all of that. But yeah, like Ada said, I currently teach COM 160. It's been a fantastic experience. I get to work with a bunch of our first years, but also like even transfer students who are coming in to take argumentation and debate. So it's been a lovely experience. Also coming in for the forensics team, we not only coach in different areas. Jules, for instance, does platform, and I work more so on our debate side. But speaking to experience as a first year, very similar to what Jules has said, I think that the environment's incredible. It seems that both cohorts are not only really collaborative in the way that we are able to like talk about specific research interests, but also our SoCal leadership team has created a lot of opportunities for faculty and first years to be able to mingle a little bit, get to learn about the department a little bit more, and especially as somebody who's not necessarily like a previous comm major, I think these experiences were incredibly useful in being able to feel like I had a place in this department and that I was able to connect with people who are going to be really important in my journey throughout grad school. One piece of advice, though, that I would like to offer up, again, very much echoes Jules, in that I think that, especially coming into any grad program, but especially this one, just because of the rigor and the expectations of our faculty for us to succeed and really figure out what our passion is in the field, is to just explore. you're showing up for an education for you. So figuring out what that looks like taking different classes, especially in your first 2 semesters, just to figure out what makes the most sense for your interests, whatever research you would like to conduct, or where you would like to take this degree in the future, I think is what you should be doing as a grad student, and is probably the best use of your time. So whatever that means for you, just get really creative, be an adventurer. This is your degree. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, Ollie. That was beautiful. That was a perfect segue. We are going to have our second year representative, Danielle, who covers SoCal, talk about those experiences.
Hi, everyone. My name is Danielle Gonzalez. I'm a second year. I'm currently serving as the president of our graduate leadership organization, which is the Society of Communication and Leadership, otherwise known as SoCal. I also teach COM 103 and work under Dr. Record with our SONA research recruitment platform. But one thing I really appreciate about this program, I have to say I'm biased, is the leadership opportunities. I was really involved in undergrad and also working professionally, so I wanted to come to a program where I could push myself even more. So currently I manage 6 officers. Some of my officers are here today on the Zoom, and I've really just grown a lot as a leader. I also appreciate the mentorship that I've received from our amazing faculty and my peers, not only in my cohort, but the cohort before me and also the cohort under me. So really taking advantage of those opportunities is awesome. As for my advice for you all would be to be comfortable being uncomfortable. I think grad school is a really, really different opportunity than undergrad, and you are going to be tried and tested. You are going to be developing new skill sets. So really just taking this and giving yourself grace, and also looking forward to all the growth that you receive by the end of the program. I can say I am 100% a better scholar, a better leader, a better writer, and just overall professional than when I started this program. So yeah, just remember, be comfortable being uncomfortable. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Danielle. That was wonderful. Last but not least, we do have Maya, who is our second year representative, but also takes place as a research assistant and then a graduate assistant to other faculty.
Hi, everyone. My name is Maya Conservendel, and like Ada said, I'm a second year. I'm currently a research assistant, and then last year I was also a COM 103 GTA, and I'm also in SoCal, so I feel like I've kind of done it all at this point. Kind of hard to follow because I feel like a lot of my advice and like what I appreciate about grad school has already been said, but I think for me, mostly it's just like the community that we've built here, and like the year and a half that we've been in school together, like the picture you saw on the slide, that was all of us at a grad event. So I feel like we built like really good community and also just like friendships in grad school. And I feel like that's really important. I feel like, you're going to have times where it gets a little tough, or you're having like difficult classes, or maybe, something is going on with your students. And I feel like it's really great to have that community, and you can like lean on each other and like ask each other for advice. So that's something I really value in this program. And then for advice, a lot of good advice has already been given, but I'm thinking for some advice for your application. Give yourself enough time to do your application. Give yourself enough time to, write your statement and ask your professors for letters, because you don't want to be rushing it. You don't want to be like 2 days before the deadline still having to finish things. Like make sure you have at least a week of like leeway if things, don't exactly work out. Maybe your professor are a little bit slow in writing your letters. So make sure you're not stressing those last few days, but really give yourself enough time to, really focus on your application and do the best that you can. Thank you.
That was beautiful. Thank you. That's a great piece of advice. Thank you to all of our graduate students. I'm going to pass it over to Dr. Chen.
Thank you so much, Eda, and thank you, the forensic team, for being here while you're away at tournament. Thank you so much. So that's what we have for today. I know there is one question in the chat that was more specifically about an individual case. For those type of questions, you can reach out to me. We can definitely speak individually. We still have about 5 minutes if there's any other kind of individual case, but other questions folks have for and I see that Chelsea has raised her hand. Chelsea. Let me see. 20. There you go. Chelsea.
Hi again. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I just wanted to ask, how many applicants do you typically select for the program each year, just so I can gauge how competitive it is?
So great question, Chelsea. We've been given a admission target of 15 from our college, which is the College of Professional Studies and Fine Arts. So we've been given the target of 15. We would like to bring in at least 15. I check in with Dr. Savage and Dr. Recker, who are serving on the graduate committee. So our sense is minimum of 15. If we go beyond, I think we can comfortably accommodate up to 20.